Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, the SNP have many problems, of course, not least of which is their very existence. Come the next election, they could lose so many seats that the Westminster money will crash, and without it, they will be in deep financial trouble, even to the point of financial collapse, where they would literally go bankrupt. They'd have to be wound up. That would be an end to it. And I don't think too many people would shed too many tears. But this is all coming through on the doorsteps. People are fed up of the SNP. They're fed up of Operation Branchform. They're fed up of the Michael Matheson affair. They're fed up of services being cut. And they're fed up of taxes rising. And they are basically just fed up of the SNP. Falling numbers don't help either. Well, there is one man. His name is Blair McDougall. And he really is a big hitter in terms of the understanding of political fortunes. He is the one who masterminded the Unionist victory in the 2014 independence referendum. He will be standing in the next election, and he says that the SNP are in trouble. He sees it on the doorstep, and he is confident of a major victory. And he says anyone that votes anything other than SNP will help that victory. And I think he's quite right. But we'll take a look at what he's saying, take a look at what is going on, and see how bad it truly is for the SNP. Here goes. So the SNP crisis is cutting through on the doorsteps with voters as the Grand Mufti faces bruising election. He doesn't know how much trouble he's in, I think. I believe he lives in his little delusional world where he still thinks that the SNP are the powerhouse that they were under Sturgeon. And of course, they're nowhere near that. The guy hasn't won an election ever since taking power. What he's getting on for nearly a year now. He's failed on every single metric. Nothing is right. And yet he still, I think, believes that he has a chance. Poor deluded fool. Anyway, Blair McDougall, the man who masterminded the yes defeat in the 2014 independence referendum. I would prefer to say the no victory, but hey, you know, pays your money, takes your choice. Anyway, he is standing for Labour, and he reckons the latest Operation Branchform revelations have had a big impact on the public. They all do, and it isn't just Branchform, of course. It's everything else. Like I say, you got the Matheson thing, you got the rising taxes, you got the cutting of services, you got 25,000 people dying on the waiting list at hospitals. All of these things keep coming up. Everyone knows. You had your woman last night. We did the video first thing this morning, saying that an independent Scotland would give, open, complete, unlimited, unfettered, unvetted immigration to anyone who wanted to go to Scotland. It would dilute the Scottish race from being 98% to being 2%. Let's just literally flood the country with the dross of the third world. An SNP crisis that is cutting through on the doorstep for political campaigners has been identified as the chief turd of Scotland, the chief pudding of the turdy race. An SNP crisis that is cutting through on the doorstep for political campaigners has been identified, with McJobby faces up to the prospect of a bruising general election. Former Better Together chief strategist Blair McDougall will stand for Labour at the next election in East Renfrewshire. Well, there we go. He should get that one. Kirsten Oswald currently holds the seat for the Nats, and she is someone who, how she has not been arrested over Branchform is an absolute astonishment to everyone. Because her grubby little fingers were all over it, weren't they? Anyway, this has been in what could be a rare three-way battle between the SNP, Labour and the Scottish Cons. While Labour finished a distant third in 2019, McDougall also ran in 2017 when Labour finished a mere 2,000 votes even, behind the Nats. But the Tories took the seat. He's already been campaigning ahead of a poll of the coming year, and he reckons two political stories from the past 7 days are making an impact. As well as the UK's government Rwanda refugee plan, he pointed to a story that emerged over the weekend in relation to Operation Branchform. And yes, I was going to say it's the Jaguar, the electric Jaguar. £95,000 worth of car. Oh, just nice for Mr. Murrell, who went on then, allegedly, to sell it. I wonder where the money went. Ching ching, back pocket possibly. And it is just sleaze and corruption and everything that comes out. It's more and more. It mounts and it mounts. And people think, and especially SNP voters, this is the thing. Most people aren't actually in a position, wealth, to do this, but they still pay their couple of pound a month or whatever. when they're paying this over and making a point of doing it, possibly at the cost of putting food on the table for their children, and then they see fat, greasy, slimy wankers like Murrell go, oh yes, I'll have a £95,000 Jaguar, blah, 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 as he pours himself into it, squeezing in, go and get me shoveling juice, and they're larding him up to push him in this Jag. Then he sits there and drives it along, and then they have to get the old stick to prise him out because it's too tight for him. And they're probably thinking, well, why are we paying nearly £100,000 for that oaf to have a nice car? Then only has it for a little while, and then sells it and pockets the money. This is why people are leaving the SNP. Sleaze. It is. It's pure grift, isn't it? Corruption, left, right and centre. Anyway, the Rwanda row has left voters baffled and has confirmed a sense that they already had the UK government is governing itself, not the country. They've been fighting themselves for years now. The big problem with the Conservative Party is that they've got a man at the top who doesn't care about the country. He's got a green card. He can piss off to America when he likes. He's a non-tax-paying billionaire. He's got no issues. He doesn't relate to poor people. He doesn't relate to working people. He doesn't relate to anyone who isn't a billionaire. And yet he sits there and pontificates on how we should all live our lives. Meanwhile, he's well cushioned by his fat pile of cash that he can just rest in, and it doesn't matter to him. And he talks a good game about, oh, blah, 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 blah. But then he's the one who's not actually telling the EU to go fuck themselves, which is what he should be doing. He should be just saying, look, we're doing the Rwanda plan. Screw this. We'll just come out of the ECHR. And they go, oh, no, you can't do that. And they go, we'll do it. France is doing it. We'll do it. Bang, done. What are they going to do? Park the tanks on the lawn? Don't think so. And if they do get a bit uppity, all we have to do is just say, right, we'll put 100% on BMWs. Let me tell you, there'll be a phone call go, German cars, 100% tax, woo. The EU will change its tune within 24 hours. 1,000% on French wine, 100% on a German car. Good luck. We're the biggest purchasers of BMWs in the world, as Clarkson would say. It would change. Anyway, the story about the expensive Jaguar, bought then sold by Nicola Sturgeon's husband, has reignited interest in the affair. How many motors did they have? Well, at least two that we know of. Honest John's car lot keeps buying and selling cars off the Murrells, doesn't it? He added, of course, more conversations were of the state of the roads, of the state of the high street, but for the two governing political machines, all their efforts to control the media agenda are thrown off by these more colourful, more dramatic and ultimately more authentic moments. And of course then you got all the sleaze involving the chief mufti, who was mufti diving onto possibly, we guess, Anam Kazar, possibly, allegedly. If it's not her, he pisses off to COP28, where he's not invited at great expense, takes his Saturday girl with him. Bit more copping off, I think, at the COP28 perhaps, who knows. Bit of sleaze, bit of behind the back, I hope the wife don't mind. Nearly £1 million he's handed over to Hamas as blood money to get the parents back. There's all sorts of things going on, and I'm sure all the people who sign up and vote for the SNP are really pleased all this is going on. And then we're doing the thing about them wanting to take over the children, and you can't deny your children gender reassignment surgery. So if your 9-year-old daughter wants to sterilise herself, you've got to agree, or you go into the criminal system because it makes you a criminal. You've got the hate crime bill, so if you even think bad thoughts about Hamza Yousaf, that's a race crime. Oh, you're going to jail for hate and things like that. Well, actually, I'll tell you what now, it doesn't apply to me. Hamza Yousaf, you're a wanker. There you go. Knock yourself out. I'm not saying you're a wanker because you're a Muslim. That would be quite wrong. I'm not saying you're a wanker because you are, I don't know, pick another thing. Tall, short, old, male, straight, whatever, all the little things that you're allowed to be, and there'd be hate crimes if I say it. No, you're just a wanker because you literally are a wanker. And that's when you're not boffing other people behind your wife's back, allegedly. There you go. Hit me for your hate crime, tosspot. Anyway, I'm having a good one. This is a great one for me. I'm loving this. Oh, knock it out. Right, so anyway, there he is. Old McDougall at a farm. E-I-E-I-O. He's going to take on the Labour mantle. He'll win. Not Kirsten, I do hope so. Not Kirsten Oswald out the park. She'll have to go and find a job. Who's going to employ her? She's so grubby and dirty, isn't she? She's so grubby. She is involved in that scale so deeply, I think. I still can't get over she hadn't been arrested. But who's going to employ her? What's your last job? SNP minister. Yeah, next. because they're like, who wants to hire them? Nobody will hire them. Crooks, last of all. Anyway, I shall stop there. I shall come up, round off. I sometimes just do get into them, don't I? I just love them. I just love some of the videos I do. I just rant on. Hope you do. You probably do. I don't know. If you don't, I'll find out because I'll look at the numbers. Yeah. Next time, I'm coming up. Yeah, sorry about that. Went a bit off target towards the end there, didn't I? But I just got into it. I just got into the swing of slagging off the SNP. But then they do make it so very easy, don't they? Well, I know he's Labour and I don't like Labour. I don't like the Tories. Don't like any of them. They're all parties. They're all awful. But he's got to be better than the SNP. So, well, good luck to Blair McDougall. At least he got, he got a good chance. And if he can take Oswald out, well done to him. I mean, that alone, just taking Oswald out, I mean, it's got to be worth it, isn't it? It's going to be a tight seat, though. That's not one where I'll tell you to tactically vote, unless it's obvious. But for heaven's sake, don't vote SNP. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well. And they don't normally end up like this, do they? They don't normally go off at a tangent like that. Anyway, sayonara.